What's up, everyone? Welcome to this week's Feedback Friday. Today we're going to be taking a look at a video shot by our man Justin Giofredo and his company Eagle Eye Productions. So this was actually Justin's entry into the video contest, and he wanted to know why this one didn't make it into the top 10 finalists. And so I'm going to go ahead and pick it apart and give you my thoughts, Justin, and hopefully help you improve upon your productions. So here we go. Okay, so first things first, that intro is a total of 18 seconds before we even start seeing the content. So that's my first piece of advice, Justin, is intro should only be about 3 to 5 seconds. Maybe 6, 7, 8 seconds max, but my suggestion would be 3 to 5 seconds total. And that way your audience can get to the content right away. I've said this before, you usually only have about 15 to 20 seconds to really capture the audience attention. And if that entire time is spent watching your intro, most likely they're going to click out and not watch the video. Most people, I'm one of them, I'm going to click ahead to try and find when that intro is done once I see that it's still going on. So yeah, can't stress that enough. Keep the intros short, keep them simple, keep them concise, and get your audience onto the content so they can start getting engaged immediately. Now, I like what you did here with the text reveal, but I would probably cut it on that clip. I don't think we need that text to extend into the next clip here. Also, the sound effect on here, you can tell it's a slowed down version of a soundbite, and sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. I'd say in this case, it doesn't sound very clean. It sounds kind of amateur. People don't realize that a lot of the sound effects I use, slow-mo sound effects, are artificial. They're put in post. They're not the actual sound of the clip you're seeing. Every once in a while you'll get something organic in camera that sounds really good slowed down. But if it doesn't, like that clip right there, I think doesn't sound natural slowed down. So sometimes I'll just speed it back up to normal speed, or maybe a little bit slowed down, but not that slowed down because it's sounding kind of funky, and you can just tell that it's a slowed down clip. So I would say sound design, especially in that first clip, work with that one. Also, let's talk about our camera settings on this clip here. We want the audience to be focused on what? The writer, correct? The writer and this text that's about to come up. Now, I'm guessing you shot this at a 22 aperture or somewhere around there, because the background, that school building, is just as in focus as our subject in the foreground here. So this is a crucial time when I'd recommend using a lower aperture. Stop that down to 2.8. Maybe even 1.4 if you have a lens that can do that, so that you can knock the background out of focus, so that your audience can key in on what you want them to key in on, which is your subject on the scooter and this name that's popping up. It's also going to help that text stand out a lot more, because your background is going to be blurred, and so the text is going to stand out instead of getting kind of lost in the clear-cut lawn and road and cars and building. And so that's a huge recommendation for that first shot, is utilize that shallow depth of field by bringing that aperture down, and it's going to make that first shot a lot more cinematic. I love this opening sequence Justin does. He has his rider getting air in various locations, and he has a static shot, and so they cut together really nicely. There was only one cut in there, Justin, that was a jump cut that I would have mixed in. So you notice he's cutting to a different shot, different location every time, except for right there. We're cutting back and forth between two of the same locations, and that is called a jump cut, where just slightly we're changing the camera framing. Look at this antenna pole here. ever so slightly shifts to the left there. Similar sky, a little bit different color correction or white balance, and that is called a jump cut. So try and avoid that. I would have mixed those two shots up so they didn't appear back to back, and that would help that sequence feel a little bit more fluid. But overall, I loved that editing and that sequence there of all those different air times. He's editing on the beat. Awesome content. So when I started watching this, Justin, immediately I was thrown into it and super excited about the content because this kid is super athletic and he's doing a lot of cool tricks. But if all I saw was the first 25 seconds where I watched your 20-second intro and then watched Colin Dubois and him grinding on that bar, by 26 seconds, you might have lost half your audience because you didn't even get to the good parts yet. And so 20 seconds in, I'm going, oh, that was a really long intro, and it doesn't look very cinematic. All I see is a big school building. You know, he did a cool grind, but I've seen a lot of cool grinds, so I don't think I'm going to stick around and watch this whole video. That's what a lot of your audience is going to say. So if I were you, I would have figured out how to start your content on something much flashier. Maybe I would have started with this sequence where he's getting airtime, or maybe one of his big tricks. Try and put your best foot forward and get people engaged immediately. Your best content, your best piece of action should happen in the first 20 seconds. But awesome content overall. I thought you did a great job. Awesome moving shots. Looks like you're on some kind of a gimbal. Good tracking shots. Cool transition to what I think is one of your most unique shots, which is this drone that's slowly rising up. I love this shot. The closer you can get that scooter guy to your drone, the cooler that shot's gonna look. My guess is you got within about 2 to 3 meters of the drone, and that's pretty awesome. If you could get even closer, I'd say that's even greater. So, you know, that's kind of a tactic I like to use in a lot of videos I make, is try and get as close to the action as you possibly can. And this shot's actually a rising drone shot, so you probably started a lot closer and ended up at that point. So awesome shot, love that. Awesome drone shots. Way to mix it up, different angles, different cameras. Good speed ramps. Love that editing sequence there. Now, one thing I will say, and this is something that Devin Graham taught me when I did a cliff diving video, I kept cutting right as they would hit the water, and Devin said you want to make sure you give a little bit of space to actually see the water splash, and so people can see the complete trick. And I'd say the same thing about this, is you're cutting right as he's landing or a little bit before he lands. And so you're going to have some people saying, oh, did he actually land that? Did you just cut so you couldn't see him fall? And maybe there was times where he did actually fall, and so you would want to cut. But you're doing that on almost every single trick, and so I would give a little bit more space after they land so that the audience can tell, oh, he actually did land the trick, and it just gives the audience a sense of completion when they can see the land and just a few frames after that, so that they can feel the completion of that trick. So just watch on a few of these as you cut just a little bit too early. See, especially that last one, we didn't even get to see him land. And it's okay to have some that don't show a lot after they hit again. But if you have every single shot only showing right when he hits, right before he hits, you're going to have some complaints of people saying, oh, he didn't actually land a lot of these, because he didn't show him going any farther than actually hitting the ground. And then on this ending page here, I would say call to action is huge, especially for your sponsors, your Scooter Zone and Hater Block sunglasses. Instead of just putting those tiny words in the corner, I would put pictures of the product, some links they could go to, something, some kind of call to action that lets the viewer know what this was all about, what product placement was in there, what can I buy that I would want out of this video. This black page with some text in the bottom left-hand corner doesn't really do it for any of the viewers. And so, especially if you want people to come back and watch more videos, put a subscribe button, put more content coming, something that lets people know what they should do after they watch that. What was the purpose of watching that video? To thank the sponsors? No, we want the viewer to act. We want them to do something. We want them to like, to subscribe, to check out more of your content, to go buy your product or go buy your sponsors' products. And that's going to make your sponsors a lot happier, because if people are acting and buying something or visiting a site, your sponsors are going to realize the impact that this video made and going to want to hire you again to do more videos because of the results that your video produced. So keep that in mind, guys. It's not just the actual video you create that's going to get you more clients. It's the results that your video creates. And so this, to me, that call to action, that last scene, that last page, isn't going to create results, which isn't going to get you more clients and more work. So that call to action, that final page, is super important, as is the intro page, to get them to watch the whole video and get to that final call to action. So biggest pieces of advice, Justin, is shorten that intro, get people engaged right away in the first 15 seconds. And secondly, give me a nice call to action so that people are acting, doing something to cause results for you and your brand and for the sponsors and brands that are involved in making the video. And last piece of advice, I noticed that you shot this throughout different times of day. We had some noonday, we had some twilight where there's no sun at all. We had some golden hour shots, we had some middle of the day but were shaded. And so you had a huge variety of lighting situations, which means one of two things. One, you either need to color correct the crap out of all those different clips to help them match each other, or two, next time be more aware of that and try and shoot as much of the content as you can in the same lighting. Similar lighting is going to create a lot higher quality production. So that's my last recommendation. Is try and schedule, let's say you shot this over 12 hours. Well, let's come back at the same time from 5 to 8 o'clock at night during golden hour, so we get the exact same lighting, and we'll come back for as many nights as we need to until we finish the shoot, instead of just shooting all day long for one day. Yes, that's more time consuming to have to come back multiple days. That may not be an option. If that's not an option, at least wait for the sun to come out and don't shoot during shade if most of your footage is in sun, or vice versa. If you've been shooting most of it in shade and the sun pops out, wait for that overcast to come back so that all your footage can match. So that's the last thing to be aware of to help the overall production value be there, is shoot during the same time of day or wait for the same weather patterns so that all your footage can look pretty similar. So that's it. That's my feedback for you, Justin. Overall, I thought you did a great job. Amazing content, great camera angles, great movement, great editing. Just a few things here and there that I think you can improve upon to really take your content to the next level. As far as reasons why this one wasn't in the top 10, the main reason was that the video contest was based around travel videos, and even though I said I'll take all entries, we ended up having mostly only travel video entries. And so if I were to put this one in the top 10, then I don't think it would have gotten a lot of votes because it wasn't really on topic. So I think this video would probably make it in the top 10 in an action sports video contest that we do down the road. So maybe save it for that. But, relevance is key. And in that contest, travel videos turned out being the most relevant. And that's what people are going to share, what they're going to vote for, or whatever the purpose is in posting the video. So that's it for this week's Feedback Friday. If you guys have any further questions for me or for Justin, please let us know.